And my hot take is this. Over the course of Star Wars mythos, this character is the single standalone character that has not done anything to garner the fandom that he has. What's good, everybody? Here to talk about The Mandalorian, the most recent episode. I am a bit late in watching and posting, but I got a few takes that might be considered inflammatory, so stick around, let's talk about it. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you're watching on YouTube. Follow the page if you're watching on Facebook. But I want to get into my thoughts about this week's episode of The Mandalorian, episode 6. Hot take number 1 goes something like this. I've been watching all the Star Wars movies over a long course of history. I've watched them all. Not at the time of them coming out, but I did see every single Star Wars theatrical release. While watching these movies, I never understood the popularity of the character Boba Fett. And my hot take is this. Over the course of Star Wars mythos, this character is the single standalone character that has not done anything to garner the fandom that he has. The reason why I bring that up right now, and the reason why I say it right now, is because when you look at this episode, this is the badass that most people believed Boba Fett to be, but never saw him to be throughout anything. If I go back to the old movies, if I look at the prequels, if I look at any of the other things that showed or featured Boba Fett, to my knowledge, minus the Clone Wars, because I haven't seen that, I've never seen Boba Fett actually do anything that garnered the praise or the coolness that people associated with him. It was always that he just was a character who looked cool, but that was it. Then you get this week's episode, and from the moment he's on the screen to the end of the episode, you know, as they're traveling off planet, this guy brings the pain, and he does it consistently throughout the episode. Without the armor, with the armor, the dude is bad. But he had never been bad like this in anything else. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Second hot take, again, come at me in the comments if you think, you know, I'm wrong about this. But as I watch this episode and I'm seeing the end of it, and I'm looking at Moff Gideon, you know, walking around and being Moff Gideon, my first thought was, what do I know about this dude besides he's very well portrayed? What do I know about him? And my answer would be absolutely nothing. Star Wars, here's the take. Star Wars is the only franchise that can have villains that are villains for the sake of being villains. No backstory, no explanation, no justification, none of it. No motivation, just I'm bad because I'm bad. I'm evil because I'm evil. And I'm twirling my mustache and I'm evil. And that is it. I'm not saying all that because these villains are bad villains by any stretch of the imagination. I love Moff Gideon, but I know nothing of him. I know nothing of his motivation. I know nothing of his plans. Like, imagine Killmonger showing up in Black Panther and just showing up at Wakanda, not knowing any of his backstory, not getting any of the motivation as to why. Nobody else can do that, but Star Wars does it repetitively. I think back even to Darth Vader. Like, Darth Vader showed up in the first one, we knew nothing. In the second one, we got some more backstory. In the third one, we got a ton of backstory. And then in the prequels, we got the entire story. But if you look at the first trilogy and then the prequel trilogy, that's decades in between there. And I know there's books and there's all this tabletop games and lore and all the other stuff. Not into all that. I'm just looking at what we see on the screen, and I'm seeing years between knowing what is the motivation behind this character. He's just bad for the sake of being bad. And I'm seeing the same thing here, and I'm not saying that it's not working. It works well. But Star Wars is, I think, the only people who can get away with that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, besides all that, this episode was really, really good. I would not call it better than the Ahsoka episode to me. The other people say, like, oh, it's the best episode ever. Like I actually had a friend, you know, on Twitter hit me up and say, hey, you know, you said it's the best episode ever every week, and you weren't wrong. Like, I kind of stand by the Ahsoka episode a bit more than I do this one, but that's neither here nor there. Everything this season has been great. Can't wait to see more. Come back and let's talk about it. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, check out more videos, please.